everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So very excited because I have a brand new foundation to test out, and it is the new one from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now I don't think I've ever tried any of her foundations. I know she came out the skin tint like a balm last year, and there was like the luminous one that it looks like it's being discontinued. But I've never really tried any of them. But this one was sent to me. Now, wrong shade was sent to me. I received 2W, which it's light with warm golden undertones. It's the wrong shade. It's not too bad. I'm wearing it now, so I am already wearing the foundation. I've been wearing it for a couple hours right now, but it is the wrong shade. But you know, if I like the foundation, I will definitely be purchasing it in the correct shade. But this was sent to me as a gift from the brand, but unfortunately just the wrong shade. But I can still do a wear test, and again, I was able to definitely make it work. I did bring it down my neck, so if I'm streaky or when I'm watching the video, if you're watching the video and you say, oh, that's the wrong shade, yes, I know. So I'm just letting you know I am aware, you know, it was sent to me. But really excited to try this foundation. This one is totally up my alley. It is called the Impeccable Blurring Second Skin Matte Foundation. So a little couple things about me. If you've never watched my channel before, I love full coverage and I love matte foundations. I am 48 years old, and I like full coverage. Kind of just, you know, I've learned to appreciate medium coverage recently, and as I've gotten better with my makeup and I've gotten better with my skin and taking care of my skin, and my skin has gotten clearer, I'm liking medium's coverage a little bit more, and even skin tints. Some skin tints I feel that I find that, you know, there are certain days that I think that they're great. However, if I'm going out or I'm doing something like it's a special occasion, I'm going for a full coverage matte foundation because I want it to last. And this one says it says it's waterproof. It like lasts 12 hours. And I've already been wearing it a couple hours, and I want to say so far my first impressions are pretty good. Okay, so first up, let's just take a look at the bottle. The bottle's gorgeous. I think it's really pretty. You've got the, you know, pump here. Now the foundation is actually pretty thick, to the point where I wouldn't use a brush. My preferred way of applying foundation, and you'll see me apply, I did record when I applied the foundation, I just didn't have time to do an intro, that I used a damp sponge. That is my preferred way of doing most foundations. Sometimes I will go in with a brush and then, you know, go back in with a damp sponge. To me, this one is like, you got to do a damp sponge because it's very, very thick. And, you know, having watched Marlena Stell, it's called viscosity. It's that thickness, and it doesn't mean like it's heavy where it's thick, where it like coats your skin and, you know, it's really heavy on the skin, but it's pretty thick once you put it on. So you definitely don't need that much. I will show you when I applied it earlier. I just left this. I didn't clean this. I put too much on my palette, so I definitely overestimated, so you really don't need a lot. Now again, with it being the wrong shade, I was definitely trying to go sheerer, but a little went a long way. So I would say, you know, just know that. But here's a little bit about so here's what it says on their website. It says, introducing Impeccable Foundation, a medium to full coverage. So this is a medium to full coverage, and I would say yes. I think I'm probably wearing it medium light full coverage today because I did sheer it out because of the wrong shade. Long wearing formula that blurs pores, fine lines, and wrinkles for up to 12 hours. Powered by precision blur technology, this hydrating velvet matte foundation features hyaluronic acid for a smooth, flawless finish and second skin feel. So, a couple things. Do I feel like it's blurring my pores? Maybe a little. Let me get my mirror here. You know, I didn't use any sort of primer. I don't think it's blurring my pores. I'm going to be honest. However, it's not making my pores look bad. It's not emphasizing my texture. It's not emphasizing my pores. But is it blurring my pores? I'm going to say no. And I would say also it's not emphasizing my wrinkles, and my fine lines. So I would say in all of those things, I won't say it's blurring, but it's a good thing. You know, it definitely looks good as opposed to some other foundations that kind of crease in. And again, I've been wearing it probably 3 or 4 hours at this point. I powdered when I first put my makeup on. The only thing I've done since then is I just applied lipstick. It's the only thing else I've done. So Yeah, I would say, I won't say blurring, but so far I'm liking the way it is looking. I would say yes, it does feel, I won't say hydrating, but it doesn't feel drying. And having been wearing this for a while, I don't have my oils breaking through, and I don't have any sort of primer on. I just had a moisturizer on, and I didn't put any setting spray. So they did come out with a setting spray. I did not, I don't have that, so I'm not trying that. But and I would say, like, it didn't feel dry when I first put on my face, and I don't have my oils breaking through, but I also don't feel like my face is dry. So it didn't feel cakey when I first put it on. You'll see when I put it on, I said it did feel lightweight, and it still feels lightweight. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing foundation. So a couple other things: velvet matte, medium to full coverage, long wearing up to 12 hours, and water resistant. So I like that. And I can see that because, again, my oils aren't coming through. So I do feel like that is probably why. It also says it's a weightless, water-based formula. So that's really key to know when you're using a primer. So if you're using a primer, do not use a silicone primer with this foundation, because it is a water-based formula. So effortlessly, and it says effortlessly blends and builds, and I would say absolutely. And I did say I was able to build it a little bit. I was able to go over a couple areas. Blur, smooth, and minimize pores. Yeah. I would say no, but it also doesn't emphasize them. So visibly even skin tone, yes, and mass discoloration, redness, and blemishes. I do have redness, I don't have blemishes, but I would say yes to all of that. Non-slip, non-cakey formula, doesn't melt, separate, or settle into lines. So far, again, been wearing it about 3 or 4 hours. It hasn't melted and doesn't separate, and it hasn't settled into my lines. I am going to be working out later, so I am going to test this working out. Now I'm working out on my Peloton in my garage, so I don't sweat too much, but I will be able to put that a little bit to the test, and I will come back at the end. No flashback formula, doesn't self-set or oxidize for a natural finish. I kind of felt like it did self-set. Like, I did put a little bit of powder on, but it felt like it dried on its own. Like, I didn't feel like I needed powder. So I think if you have dry skin, you may not need to put on powder. It didn't oxidize. I would say that. Pairs perfectly with liquid cream and powder finishes. I just used powder today. I didn't use any cream. So I didn't use any cream products. So I can't speak to that, but I just used powder. Worked fine with that. Ideal for all skin types, especially oily skin. I would agree with that. I'm combination. My skin is not really dry at all right now, but it's not really specifically oily. But I would say for combination skin, I would say agree. Luxe custom molded component, beautiful, I do think, and it's available in 25 flexible shades and undertones. So again, I got 2W. I'm looking at the tones, and there's like 1.5N and 2N. They're both light neutral, but I don't know. So they look really close. It looks like the 1.5N is a little bit more peachy. So I'm gonna see which one. I'm gonna try and see if when this goes to Sephora, when I can try it there, because I think I really wanna try it in person if I really like it, which so far I'm really liking it. And yeah, it's cruelty-free, vegan, and all free of all the stuff we don't want. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of rewind time and show you footage of when I first applied the foundation, showing you kind of how the shade is really bad for me, but showing you that me applying, and then I will be showing you updates throughout the day. And then at the end of this video, I will come back and give you my final thoughts of my first impressions of at least an 8-hour wear test. So let's go. Okay, so I have the shade 2W, which I think is going to be a little too warm for me and maybe a little too dark, but I'm going to try and just at least make it work so I can do a wear test. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be a little bit warm, but I'm going to go ahead and try and make it work, at least so I can do a wear test. Now this foundation is actually pretty thick, so I am using a damp sponge to thin it out. And yeah, the shade is definitely too warm, but as it thins out, I can make it work, and it's a little too dark, especially since I'm so pale right now. So I don't know, I think maybe I'm a 2N, but it might even be, I think it's 1.5N. I need to take a look at the shades, but I'm gonna do half my face and then compare. Okay, so here is half my face. I tried to spread it out really thin. It does spread out really thin. I don't think I would use a brush for this because it is pretty thick, but as you spread it out with a damp sponge, it spreads out really nicely. Even though the color is completely wrong for me, it spreads out really nicely, and it looks really nice, and it feels like it's already kind of set. I will set it with a powder because I always just do a light dusting of powder at the very least, and then I won't powder again while I'm doing the wear test, but it feels like it's like pretty much self-setting, which is really, really nice. Okay, so I just finished the rest of my foundation. So I did bring it down my neck just so that it wouldn't look too freakish, but definitely wrong shade. I'm even thinking, I saw a couple people that got like the PR package that had like 5 shades and that were my skin tone, and they were using like the 1.5. So, I'm going to probably wait and see what I get. If I get the 2N, if I like it, if I get the 2N, or if I try and get a different, even lighter than that. So, but, right now, first impressions is that I haven't powdered it at all. I will probably use, a setting powder that's just light so that it will hopefully kind of just get more into my skin tone, but that's it. What I do is I just powder once and that's it. I won't powder throughout the day, and I'll be doing checkups on my iPhone. It is almost, so it's just almost 11 o'clock right now. So I'm gonna do at least an 8-hour wear test and see. But right now, my initial impressions is the coverage is beautiful. I love the matte, like it's a beautiful matte, but it doesn't feel heavy. And it feels very, given how thick the foundation was, it doesn't feel like it's very thick on the skin. I won't say it's lightweight, but it's sheared out really nicely with a damp sponge, and it's set really nicely. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get the rest of my makeup on. My hair is wet, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to come back, but once I get the rest of my makeup on, I will do I'll do a quick test on my phone. And the rest of this will be on my phone, and I will come back at the end of the day to give you my final thoughts of my first impression of the wear test. Okay, this was about 15 minutes after I stopped filming. You can see the coverage. This is just a natural sunlight, but this is how it looked before I put any other makeup on. And this is immediately after I applied my full face of makeup, and you can see I did powder, but it didn't make it cakey, and you can see my pores, but I think it looked great. This was about an hour after first application. So this is 2 hours later, and I actually thought it started to look better because the makeup just kind of melted together, and it's still looking great. This is a little over 5 hours in. This is after I filmed the intro, and I thought it looked good. Again, you can see my pores, but I'm 48 years old, but it doesn't crease, looking good. This is 7.5 hours in. You can see I'm getting a little shiny, but not too bad. This is just before I started to work out. It's looking good. Again, see my pores, but I thought it was looking really good, even at this point. So this is about 8.5, 9 hours in. I had just finished working out, so I'm a little sweaty, but you can see I'm shiny, but not a greasy mess. I thought it looked really, really good even at this point. Okay, so I am back. It is now 9:30. So I have been wearing this for, I'm going to do math, 10.5 hours. 10.5 hours I have been wearing this. I am amazed how good it looks. Now, I will say, I do have, like, you can see, like, my pores and stuff, but I have pores. Like, it's not, like, it's, and I will say there's probably a little bit around my nose, but I did work out. I did 45 minutes on my Peloton, and when I work out, I get a runny nose, so I tried not to. I was really conscious of trying not to do that. But I never powdered. I only powdered when I set my face. I used the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye powder, I think is what I used, but that's the powder I used. So very translucent, very lightweight. I didn't powder a lot. I just used powdered products. I didn't, like I mentioned earlier, I only used cream, but I am really, really impressed. Now, I am a little shiny, but that really didn't start until I worked out. And like I said, I did 45 minutes. It was in my garage. We do have an AC in our garage, so there was air conditioned, but I do sweat. So I was sweating, and I could tell, like, probably 25 minutes in, where I could tell like, okay, yeah, my face is starting to get a little sweaty, but I'm really impressed with this. So this is just my first impression. This is not, I guess a full review, but I do like it enough where I am going to purchase my correct shade. Because like I said, I did receive this in PR and it is the wrong shade. So I do like it enough where I am going to purchase it myself. So it's available at abh.com, and then it's also available at Sephora. And I'm going to try and see if I can go in store to Sephora. So if I can get to Sephora this weekend, and that way I can try and see if they have it in stock, because I really want to, because I'm really unsure, I know it's like 1.5N and then 2N. They're both light, neutral, but with like a different undertone, and I'm really unsure. Like it's hard to know. So but it's $46, and now I did see on Anastasia Beverly Hills there was a promo code that worked. It was like 15%. I'll post it below and see. It worked on, I just tried to see like if it would work, and it did, and it brought it down to like $36. So I might purchase it there. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I do like it enough where I do want to get my correct shade, because this is a foundation that's totally up my alley, totally something that I would love, and so far I really like it. And this is one that I could say, like I always say, this could compete with my Airbrush Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury. It has still remained my number one, but there's a couple that continue to kind of give it a run for its money, and I do find myself sometimes reaching for other ones. This is one though I would really like to do a wear test, like one day to the next, to see which one works better, because this is really impressive. So I am very, very excited about this. So with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.